the distance between us. By Reina Grand. Reina. Oh, someone in Cleandale wrote it. Since I am a all assistant, AL assistant, and you are in Clintondale, New York, the physical distance between us spans a gap. Oh, that's different. All right, live. Welcome to my live. Welcome to my live, people. Welcome to my live. American National Experience. Oh, this is data. So she writes like big stuff. I write about little stuff. All right. Welcome to my live, people. Welcome to my live experience on Black Friday. Hi guys, how are you doing? Tonight I'm gonna do a review on a book. I'm gonna do a review on a book. I don't know. Some part of message and some because when I need them, I like to reach for them. All right. And I'm reaching for this one tonight. So, The Distance Between Us by Marina Grand, or Grande, depending on the country you're from and your English. I had this book in college. It was a book that I needed to write. It was my final, I think. Yeah. And this is not the final paper because it's not grade. But it was, let me see. Grade, no. It looks like that's the teacher's mark though for seeing it. And she didn't grade this paper, but she graded another paper. I don't know. But it's a memoir about families that got torn apart when parents go to overseas, like foreign. Back in Jamaica, they would say not America or whatever island. They would say, yeah, mom gone to foreign. My lighting is not good. And the teacher chose this book, and I relate to this book in many ways. Because when parents migrate to other countries, it's always for good. It's always for increase, Sometimes the opportunity comes by contracts to the country, and sometimes the opportunity comes by a family invite or simple just a change could increase this family. It could give us a bigger home, better, I don't know, clothes, live in, so on and so forth. Um, and I was one of the children that was left behind. And oftentimes the parent has to leave a child or a spouse behind in order to to increase themselves because they monitor funds. Usually, sometimes it's not enough for two parties. You know, it's only enough for one, and sometimes they suffer. Sometimes they have to start new relationships in order to make it. But in this book, I love the way that Reina Grande depicts life as children that were left behind, and what the parent had to do in order to in Jamaica they say send for them, in order to send for them or in order to take care of them. A lot of times what they end up doing is go to relatives, especially grandmas, in order to live um, with parental guidance. So this is my take on it. It affects immigration and so on and so forth. The Distance Between Us by Rita Grande, the social factors that were most influential in the lives of the struggling immigrants: education, gender, family background, and psychosocial economic status. And my introduction to the book, it really is a good book. I enjoy reading it. In a country well governed, children shouldn't pay the price for inadequate economic system, as children are not supposed to go through such hardship. While Raina's parents were searching for hope on foreign soil, their children were suffering. A little girl and wait, I oh, little girls and boys are not to be responsible or left in charge of siblings. That's one of the things that happens as well, as relatives care little about them. This has been happening for years when parents are to protect children at all costs. Little Reina had to go through poverty and a life without parents, as 2,000 miles separated her and her siblings from them. The distance were agonizing for Reina, as she couldn't understand why her mother had to leave her. She worried most days that her parents created a better life without them, as Reina's passion and pain confronted her. She experienced sorrowful moments. As I reflect on the words of Kobe Iman, um, extreme poverty anywhere in is a threat to human society. No, I'm sorry, human security everywhere. Let me read that again. Extreme, and I quote, extreme poverty anywhere is a threat to human security everywhere. I knew that all Raina wanted was the security of having her parents back, not some fancy life with picket fences and brick house. That was my introduction to this book. It was one of my English 101 final composition or essay. And I it was on this book, and I went through it and I related to it because, one of the paragraphs, and she had to put it in there, was based on, what they wanted for their children: a nice house, picket fences, nice clothes, money to pay bills. And as parents, that's all we want, right? And think about, but as children, what they want is love. They don't care about a big house, and two dogs and some fancy cars in a driveway. What they care about is togetherness. And I love this quote that I found online. I try to find quotes that relates or bring up thoughts, and this one threw me. Extreme poverty anywhere is a threat to human society everywhere. So think about it. And you can write a whole book on that. If someone is going through poverty in Jamaica, guess what? It hits America. Wherever the families are, it hits them. So when you think that you can hide, you can work your money and hide in a country, and forget about your children or your siblings or your parents back home, just know that it affects not only that country, but everywhere. Think about if they murmur on it or complain on it, and some other foreigners was just in the midst and hear it. They're going to go back home and they're going to think about it. Oh my God, this little girl came to me, and I'm just so sad hearing the story. If, the parent get called and they're like, oh, we don't have any money. There's no money. There's no money available because I have to pay my bills. Sometimes it don't work enough, but sometimes they come and they change. They do what Rome does, and they don't care. But this book really brought us to our knees because as immigrants, we all go through something like this. I should say went through. And what they did, I mean, if I read the rest of this essay, it will make you cry. It will make you cry. It is a good book to read. Most of the people that come over from certain countries come through illegal backgrounds. In the book, I'm not gonna get into everything, but the book really explains um, the travels one by one. Um, there's Raina and her two siblings. And look at little Raina to take care of those two others, right? A lot of us, a lot of parents put children in that situation, um, which is, when you think about it, like when I was growing up, I never really thought about it. I was left with my grand aunt. Um, and it was okay, but you miss your mother. I was treated fairly. I got the whatever I needed to eat but there's no there's no love like a mother's love and a father's love, right? And my mother and my father was away. So I grew up with a relative, which she did great, my grand aunt. And, I had to live by her rules. And what she wants from her could have been good. Um, didn't get a chance because, their aunt didn't want them to do certain things. Their grandmother didn't want them to do certain things, or they have to come home to take care of siblings, and do duties of an adult. And this book really touched on that, and that's why I love it. For some reason, any book that I buy, I purchase, I keep because it brings me back to memories. And I highlighted sections and things like that. But this essay didn't even touch on a quarter of, the problems that immigrant children face when left behind. But I feel like my introduction really gets the point home, especially with that quote, um, because we're poor, we're needy, we want more. We had to give up a lot of things, especially our children. And one of the things, like I sent my daughter home when she was 3 for 6 months, and I regretted it. Not that I didn't want her here, but just to learn about the culture and stuff like that without me. Um, and she had my mother, it's not. So my mother actually got to take care of her in the way that she would have taken care of me. Um, so, that was good, but it happens. And I feel it knowing that I did a little bit of it, but um, if I were to do it again, I would go there and spend the time with her to learn the different cultures and the different things that I had to go through. I think it's good for children to know their parents' background, and try to take something from it, so that they can live a better life. right? But this essay really got me, and I read the book. I also researched the book. Like, I went online and I see if anyone had read it and had anything to say about it, so on and so forth. But it's really guys, and this was 2019. So 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 7 years ago. So guys, like, share, and subscribe. Um, remember to be kind and courteous, love your neighbors, and check on your elderly. Peace.